Hey, this is your old boy Ivan, and I want to talk about ideas. Now, there is a funny thing about ideas. People come up to me with thousands of ideas per day. So now in this short video, I'm gonna reveal a little methodology. Now, to be more effective, of course, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a secret about how to implement and how to incorporate and how to actually realize your ideas. But now, let's talk about ideas first. Before I say the good stuff, I will tell you something about ideas. The price of the ideas, it's $0 today in the marketplace. Actually, there is a price for the ideas. They are about 12 for a buck. I mean, literally 12 ideas cost $1. Now these ideas could be small ideas, could be big ideas, could be ideas that can change the world. But still, why idea that could change the world cost 1/12 of a dollar? You can do the math. Why is that? I myself have a big idea to change the world, right? But I know the idea doesn't cost anything. Why? Because the ideas they freely float in the so-called human consciousness. It's not your ideas. Somebody else came up with this idea, he forgot to implement the idea, or he did not execute the idea. That's the key factor here. He did not execute the idea. A few days later, a few months later, or a few years later, you hit yourself in the head and say, hey, that's my idea. I knew that, I invented that, and look at this guy. This happened over and over and over to the people that I'm coaching, and also some of my personal friends. They always tell me, hey, I have this big idea. It's a big idea about business usually. They don't really have ideas about relationship, but that's a whole another topic. So now let's talk about how to actually make your idea work. And here is a mental exercise for you. And this exercise simply, it's called the rule of 20. There is a rule of 20, and this is how exactly you can work on your idea. If this is your idea, it doesn't matter. Maybe your idea, maybe somebody else's idea, somebody who told you the idea, but he did not know about this rule of 20. And here is the magic happen. Now, here is exactly what to do if you have a good idea. Take a piece of paper, and write on the top of the piece of paper your idea. Just write it down. Let's say the idea is to plant 10 million trees. All right, so you write idea, how to plant 10 million trees in the world, somewhere in the forest. You know, it's a big problem now. The forest is in problem. Anyway, and then you start listing from 1 to 30, usually to 25, all different ways to implement this particular idea. Keep it vague, keep it broad. Don't try to go into the details for the moment. It's just for the moment. As soon as you have this idea, don't try to go into the details. The details will handle on itself during the something called process. Once you start implementing this idea, all the details will come, and a lot of obstacles will come. Usually with ideas, obstacle comes. People come in the scene. Some people come that mean you harm. You know, some people, let's say 99% of the people that come across your way, if you voice the idea, they're gonna be like negative people. That's just the human nature. I don't want to explain that. That's a whole another big topic about why you should not list your ideas to too many people. Sometimes you can do something called market research or idea research, but let's now stick with the main focus of this video. The main focus of this video is called the rule of 20. So you start listing again, your ways of executing this idea, and keep this in mind. Keep this when you are exercising this. little process called thinking on paper, keep this in mind. There are 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Have you heard that? Something like this. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. There is 1,000,000 ways to build a business. There is 10,000 things. You know, the world of 10,000 things? That's like from an old book. I hope you are familiar with this book. Anyway, let's stick with the bottom line. You have to start writing 25, minimum 25 different ways of how this idea could be implemented. Now, you will find yourself, if you do this exercise, you will find yourself in a very creative state of mind. Keep it, again, the rule is this: keep it vague, keep it open, let your mind flow all around. Some powers that you are not aware of at this moment will come to your help. Some people will come to your help. Some events will come to your help. So you keep listing this idea, execute it in 20 different ways. Now let's make a practical exercise. Here we are around this peculiar area on 116. Let me show you here. And there is a store over there. It's called Salif Electronics. Yeah, Salif, it's the owner, a cool dude. Anyway, so now let's say we have an idea to open electronic store, but we don't want to do it like as Salif did it. As you can see, there's so many things over there done wrong. Look at the sign. Do you see the sign? I don't know. It looks like a 3-year-old kid wrote it with a pencil. I don't know if you see it. Anyway, so keep your mind open and start listing the different ways that you can execute your idea. Again, repetition, I cannot stress the importance of that. Keep it vague, keep it open. Keep all your options open, keep your mind open, and just list the 25 different ways, minimum 25 different ways. And now here is the important part of this video. From the world of business, and through a lot of psychological studies, and through a lot of psychology, and through a lot of studies of how the human mind works, we know for a fact that usually the 20th way of doing idea is the right way. Some people will say, but why is that? I don't know why is that. These things I don't question anymore. I used to question, but why this, why that? You know, these are the ways, these are the so-called rules. Usually around the 20th way will be the right way. Let's call it like this. What I would recommend, keep it further. Make 25, 30, you know. But keep in mind this. That's why this is called the rule of 20. Keep this in mind. Usually around the 20th way of executing one idea is usually the right way. Now, why people fail to execute their ideas? Number one, they don't know about the 20 rule idea. They don't know about this concept. So what they usually do, they start with one idea, they come up with the idea, and they start executing the idea right away. And they have only one way to execute the idea, the original way. Well, based on a lot of practice, based on my personal experience, and based on other people's experiences that have shared a lot of information on that topic, we know that the first way is usually not the right way. So that's why we have to keep exercising this creativity mode till we get to the around 20-25 ways to execute the idea. And that's why the psychologists and the people in business and the people who have studied this extensively, they call it the rule of 20 when it comes to exercise your ideas. So keep this in mind. Next time you have a good idea, get a sheet of paper, list the idea on the top, and try to list at least 25 ways of executing this idea. And miracles, miracles will happen in your life. You will find yourself unbelievable ingenuity, so-called ingenuity. And that's it for today. It is about 10 minutes video. I hope it's helpful for you. If you are in business, and I know you are, if you are watching this video, you're probably here for a reason, and the reason is probably you want to improve your business. Now, this good concept could be also implemented in the relationship field. Most of the people find a person and they have only one angle towards communicating with this person, and that is a flaw. That's a flaw. Communicating to a person one way cuts your options, limits your perspective, and also limit your perceptions when you deal with a person. Now, the same idea could be implemented into relationship. The rule is simple. You meet somebody, you kind of like the person, or you don't like the person, it doesn't matter. You just have to have at least 20 ways to communicate with this person. Communication is a big deal. You can communicate verbally, non-verbally, through the phone, through the text, through this, through that. I just listed 5 different ways how to communicate with this person. And let me throw one more rule. It comes from a great source. Here is the thing with people and things. With things, physical things. Now let me show you something that's a cool tool, right? I'm here chilling, and here is a cool tool. This is a set of tool that can do a lot of work. This little drum machine. It's called. It's a good brand, by the way, Walmart brand. Hyper tough little machine that can do a lot of crafts. And with things, with objects like this, you can be efficient. But with people, you can only be effective. So remember also that free rule for you. With people, you have to be effective. Now the question is, are you effective? Are you effective with people? And are you efficient with things? Keep this in your mind, and next time you have a great idea, implement the 20 rule principle. And then if you have problems executing this idea, you can always call me, you can always text me, you can always ask me, and put your comment. If you are patient enough to get through the end of this video, put some comment on it. That is a test to see if you have 13 minutes and 35 seconds patience. Enjoy.